I was recently recording a video where I was using the paper from this Violet Studio paper pack. This was originally purchased at Joann's Fabrics and Crafts, which most of those stores are going out of business to my understanding. And this is an older collection anyway, so you probably wouldn't find it in the stores. But I wanted to talk about these 3x3 inch cut aparts that I found in there and talk about how sometimes I will adapt a no scrap sketch to work with what I have. So the way that my paper busting templates are designed is you take one sheet of the paper and you're able to make the cards without any patterned paper scraps. So here, if I took this 6x6 piece of paper and I cut it into these 3-inch squares, one of the 3-inch squares is supposed to be cut into these 1/2-inch strips. And a lot of times this works out because there'll be times when I will have something like these 3x3 squares, or again, sometimes they're not even cut aparts. Like if you're just working with regular paper, this is a very easy sketch, it's pretty fast, that kind of thing. But when you get these 3x3 squares that sometimes come in 6x6 paper, sometimes there's one where you're like, that's not my favorite, so I'm okay, I'll just cut it up and I'll use the back side. Well, this is single-sided paper, for one. Not that you couldn't use the white sides, and I've given many suggestions on that. But I also think they're all cute. They're all just animals. I did already stamp some sentiments on them, so you can see that they either have hello or hi stamped in brown ink, and I found those in the scrapbook.com Word Fetty stamp set, which is a great stamp set for when you need some small, easy sentiments. It's Word Fetty Sunny Days, and it has you're awesome, you're amazing, you're wonderful, hi, hello, smile, and so a lot of great simple sentiments like that, and then even some miss you, sending prayers. It's just got a lot going on in one stamp set. So if you wanted a bunch of sentiments, and if you're looking for smaller size sentiments, it's one I recommend. But anyway, that's where those hellos came from. So I wanted to use all 4 of these, and there was 2 sheets of the paper. So I was like, okay, how can I make this with no scraps? How can I adjust? And it will call for, an additional piece of paper. And I said, okay, well, if I have 8 of them to use, can I do a similar design? Because I like the design, the idea, but using, getting enough of those strips for the top and bottom from one piece of paper. If I were to cut 1/2-inch strips, I would still have some of this paper left over. You could absolutely just cut it all into 1/2-inch strips, take your extra 1/2-inch strips and put them inside your card. Go for it. You don't have to do any extra math or anything like that. However, I was like, I bet you that there will still be some even division of math that I could do and it might work out. So I said, okay, I need 8 cards. That means that I need 2 strips for each card. I need 16 strips of pattern paper. I want them to be 3 inches wide. And so for every 3x6 inch piece, I am going to need to get 8 strips. So half the paper, I need to get 8 strips out of this half, 8 strips out of this half. Okay, 6 divided by 8, well, that's 3/4. So instead of cutting 1/2-inch strips, I can cut 3/4-inch strips, and I will get the amount that I need perfectly out of this. So kind of just taking it, if you have a sketch or design you like, taking some time to do some of the math. And I mean, I like having these templates so I don't have to do the math every time. I can just go back to when I did take the time and do all the math. But it's a way of helping you to understand how you can efficiently use your paper under a variety of circumstances, or you could take a sketch that you found just kind of randomly or a design you liked and adapt it to this no scrap way of thinking. So, as I mentioned, I'll cut all of these into 3x3 squares off camera, and I don't know if we have enough room for math, so we'll explore that quickly here in a second, and I will take these and I will cut 3/4 of an inch off of them, so I have it 3x6. And I'm going to measure to 5 1/4, and then to 4 1/2, and then to 3 3/4, just subtracting 3/4 of an inch each time until I have them all cut. And then my design is going to come together with these on the top and bottom. And I know this will all fit without mats because I'm the original sketch calls for 3/4 inch mats. I will say these are not exactly 3 inches because there's a little white border around them. So I'm gonna cut them to 3 inches and then kind of think about it from there. Actually here, even I'm cutting it on the white divider. If I cut it exactly at 3, it would have been different than the white divider, and I'm not sure that's what I want. So here with this squirrel, these coordinate really well because it has the acorns and the oak leaves all over. I'm noticing I could probably get like maybe an 1/8 inch, but if I put it on a colored cardstock like this, I don't think that it needs those mats because it's already providing some like space for your eye to rest. Now, if I do it on white cardstock, then I think they're not going to stand out as much, and I'm going to wish that I had some mats around it. It's a pretty subtle difference, and it looks okay either way, but that colored cardstock is one way to kind of get around when you don't want to use mats. So take a look at another one. Here, that white border, well, on white cardstock, not so obvious. So maybe that's a reason to go with the white cardstock. I know you're probably not working with this particular one. And then here, it's kind of that orange, background color is kind of blending in. So I might just make a decision on each one individually, but you're gonna notice that white border. It is so small that I think if I trim it up, you're not even gonna notice that these top and bottoms might be a little bit different. But I did wanna take just take a second and kind of highlight that because it is something that's going to make them look a little bit different and something that you could, when you add mats, if you have a cut that is slightly off, like, you know, we want these both to be perfectly 3 inches, mats can kind of help you hide some of that stuff if your pattern paper doesn't work out and you can't fix your pattern paper because you've cut it perfectly. But in this case, I might not be using the mats because I, you know, adapted the sketch. So I will then cut all of these into 3x3 squares. I'll cut all of these into 3/4 inch and we'll take a look at our final result. So some quick math and adjustments, and now I have 8 cards from 3 pieces of patterned paper with no scraps. I hope that this has helped you to kind of think about when you have something that feels close to what you need. You know, I was like, oh, I have these 3x3 cut aparts. The sketch works so well with 3x3 cut aparts, but it's just, I don't want to use the back of any of them. And so if you find yourself in a similar situation, there are easy ways that you can adapt the sketches and templates to work for the unique situation that is presented by the paper that you want to work with. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links, and I will link you to this sketch in case you have some that will work better for this particular one. See you in the next video.